Let's get to some games, though. We got some good ones this week. Let's start with the Thursday night game. We're recording on Thursday, so this game will have already happened by the time we come out. I gave my pick 2 Thursday on Instagram, but this is a fascinating game. The line's actually moved to 1.5. It was at 2.5 when I got it. Over-under's at 51. Where are you at with both these teams? Because they're interesting.
I always get very excited when the line moves in my favor and it moves in a way that I'm not expecting. This one moved in a way I wasn't expecting. I mean, Carolina's played really well, and Atlanta is. I mean, they love finding ways to lose. I mean, so how could I not take the Panthers? I mean,
it's true.
I don't know how they have a horrendous defense. Their offense has talent, but they can't put it all together. And just it's so bizarre how I know he's gone now, but how they hired Dan Quinn and just the defense got progressively worse. I don't understand.
Way worse.
I'm all over the Panthers.
Yeah. Dan Quinn is. This is a big insult to him, but he's essentially like the Adam Gase of defenses, where Adam Gase brought in to be an offensive guy. The offense has gotten progressively worse wherever he's went. Dan Quinn hired as a defensive guy. The defense got way worse in Atlanta. And for a while, he had the excuse of they're banged up, but no, they're just terrible. I could not believe. I knew their secondary was bad. I knew it was Ryan Gosling liability, and remember the Titans bad. But I looked at the numbers. They're giving up 344 yards through the air. That's absurd. That's so bad.
That's just that team when you're on that team with the struggling quarterback. You're just looking ahead at that schedule. You're just circling that game. You're like, we're getting right here. It's the get right game right here.
Fuck yeah.
That's terrible.
If you're looking for a fantasy starter for a week because your guy's on a bye, you might want to pick up whoever's playing the Falcons. That is so bad.
There are some teams this year that cannot defend the pass at all. Seattle, Dallas, Jacksonville, Minnesota. There are some teams that this year cannot defend the pass at all.
Terrible. I was on Carolina. I've never seen it. Well, I can't say never, but when Christian McCaffrey went down, he is the most versatile player in football right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He is your offense essentially going into this season, but they've definitely missed a step, but it's not they haven't taken 2 steps back. They're still solid. They're still competent. They do everything good. They do nothing, I would say, exceptional, except for covering. They're a covering machine. But they do everything good, which honestly, if you're consistent, that's how you can win a lot of games in the National Football League, because most teams are week to week, it feels like, in the National Football League. So if you can find some consistency, you're going to be able to pick up some games here and there. Like they have. I mean, they're 3-4 right now without their best player and most versatile offensive weapon, which is impressive.
Right. Very impressive. Yeah. Matt Rule gets a lot of credit, no doubt.
Joe Brady's about to be a head coach next year, too. He's next boy wonder. Know he's about to be the next boy wonder.
Yes, for sure.
Which I'll be interested to see. All right, moving on. Next game I have on the board, Rams-Dolphins. -3.5, Rams are favored. Over-under's 46. This line makes no sense. When I was looking at it, I have zero idea what's happening in Vegas. Is the dude drunk at the control switch? What is happening here?
This is my lock of the week. I don't know how it can't be. It's to his first game ever, and he's playing Aaron Donald.
And I think one of the highest scoring defenses too.
Yeah, that's the lock of the weekend for me. The Rams all over Rams.
I could not believe it when I saw it. I double checked it with another book to be like, is my book just drunk? What is happening?
It's the craziest line I've ever seen.
Don't get me wrong, the Dolphins have been frisky this year, but that's with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Who knows what we're going to get out of Tua? A guy who had, a decade or two ago would have been a career-ending injury. He's a left-hander. They tend to struggle in the NFL, just the way it is, because it's a different adjustment for wide receivers. Getting the ball, tracking the ball coming from a left-hander is different from a right-hander. That usually takes a couple games to get used to or practices. He hasn't played yet starting. And Brian Flores down there, hell of a football coach, I think, because that cupboard is bare, and they are very competitive. But the Rams are good. What are we talking about here? This is absurd. I know the offense has been a little staticky, but their defense is very good. So I'm with you. I have Rams here. I don't know about the over-under. I'd probably go under because, like, God only knows. Maybe Tua comes out and slays it, but I
It's
don't
hard.
think so.
Yeah, it's just hard to believe that. Yeah, and just it's got to be Rams. I know the Rams have only beat the NFC East and the overrated Chicago Bears, but I don't care. Yeah, no.
Yeah. I'm with you. Next game, Colts-Lions, -3. The Colts are favored. Over-under is 50. I thought the Colts were good, and I still think they're an okay football team, but then you got the Lions on the other hand. I don't know what to make of this game. Like,
I hate this game.
Philip Rivers looks like he's trying out for the shot put team every time he goes back to throw a pass. And the Lions, I mean, it's like holding on to a stick of butter. Like, they can't hold on to a lead themselves.
The Lions, in my opinion, they have a little bit of the Atlanta Falcons in them, and it's funny that they just had the ridiculous game they just had this past weekend. The Lions have the little Falcons in them. They can't find ways to win. They can only find ways to lose. However, I just don't like this game. I lean towards Colts. I kind of probably lean towards the over as well, but I don't like this game.
Yeah, I'm staying away from it. It's not on my card. I lean Colts just because they're like consistently okay, but the 3 I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
But I'd rather go Colts than rely on Matt Patricia, who at this point I don't know how he's winning random games, but like
yes, I know
the future is not Matt Patricia, and you're just wasting away Matthew Stafford. I mean, every day that goes by is another day off his biological clock as a quarterback.
Poor Matt Stafford. He's a stud too. Underrated. Such a stud.
When we look at his numbers and his like, is he good enough for the Hall? You're like, how the fuck did this Lions team not do better? And then you just remember the ream of coaches they've had come through. Not great. Caldwell is looking a hell of a lot better nowadays, though, in hindsight.
Yes.
Talk about a fuck up. Hiring Matt Patricia and firing Jim Caldwell. Goddamn. Ford family. Like, I know you're trying to run that company in the ground, but you don't have to take the Lions with you. Raiders Browns. This game, I kind of love the over on. Line is 2.5. Browns are favored. Over unders 51. None of these teams like to play defense. They are allergic to defense. They're socially distancing their defense between the opposing offenses. It is bad. I think they're both giving up plus 30 points a game. And the offenses are cooking. Where do we fall on this game?
I'm with you on the over there. And I'm definitely looking at the Raiders. I'm considering Raiders money line, honestly. The Browns, man, they're 5-2 and they have a -21 point differential. That's crazy to me. I don't even know how that's possible. I know they got smoked by the Ravens, but how are you 5-2 and you're still -21 in the point differential? Like,
I didn't even know
I don't
that.
know how. I actually don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how that's possible, but it is. And just I know Odell wasn't playing great, but I do think his loss means something, as well as they lost Hooper. I just don't trust him here. I think the Raiders will run the ball. I think Jacobs will have a big game. I'm definitely leading Raiders in this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I prefer the Raiders aren't bad. I mean, they're not good, but the Browns are weird. Like, they found a consistent coach who understands what the DNA of the Browns is, which is run the ball, and then that'll open up the passing game for Baker, and don't put it necessarily entirely on his shoulders, and you can win some football games. The problem is they don't play defense, and they're starting to get banged up. Can we dispel – this is one of the dumbest fucking conversations I've ever heard. It was all over ESPN, this idea that they're going to be better without Odell Beckham, like one of the best wide receivers in the game. Why? Like, if you honestly believe that, that's an indictment on how bad Baker and the head coach are. If you can't figure out how to be a good football team with one of the best wide receivers, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're not a better football team without him. That's absurd.
Yeah, it's an absurd take. No.
No, it's just not. That's not a take. Like, it's trash. Yeah, I'm with you. Raiders here, but I prefer the over. That's my pick there. But it's gonna be interesting. John Gruden. I think he's kind of made it to the good life. Like, he's like the retiree who made it to Florida and it's just like living their best life. Like, I don't think the Davis family was getting rid of him anytime soon. And like, what are the expectations for the Las Vegas Raiders? There's no fan base. Like, who's going to be chirping them in Vegas if he's bad?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think he's very comfortable in his job. First of all, he's like the perfect face for a Vegas franchise anyway. Just John Gruden,
100%.
he's perfect for that. I know he's probably, I mean, time flies by. He's probably 3 or 4 years into it already, but he signed a 10-year contract. He's not going anywhere. He's loving life.
I always forget they gave him a 10-year contract.
10-year, $100 million contract.
What the
It was
fuck?
the
Is
most
he a college
absurd
coach?
thing
Like,
ever.
what the hell is this?
Yeah,
That's
weirdest thing ever.
That's something you give Dabo and fucking Nick Saban in college, not in the NFL.
Especially a coach that hadn't coached in 15 years.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh,
So dumb.
fucking A, man. I mean, good for John Gruden. And whoever his agent is, I applaud you, sir. That is his Christmas gift that year that agent's Christmas gift John Gruden sent him had to be immaculate.
I mean, unbelievable.
Or holiday gift, whatever holiday he.
We got a lot of issues, but isn't America just awesome?
It's so true. Oh, all right. Packers Vikings. Zimmer, who looks like he's about to pull out a shotgun and start putting players down some Sundays, and then you got the Packers Raiders on his fuck you tour. The line's at 6.5. Over under to 51. Cook is back for this.
Yeah.
I don't know if that ultimately changes the dynamic here, because like you said, the Vikings pass defense is terrible, and I don't know if anybody's been fucking noticing. Aaron Rodgers has been slinging it around, so
Doing okay.
it feels like a bad spot for the Vikings here.
Yeah, I agree. It feels like a bad spot. I understand that this isn't college football, so we're not going to get like a 10.5 spread, but
Yeah.
I think the spread could be a little larger.
Unless
honestly.
you're the Chief Jets, which we're going to get back to in a moment. Who?
Yeah,
that's a college spread out there today on the NFL
that's a
board.
college spread. But I think the spread could even be bigger. I really think that Packers will kind of own them here. I like the over, and just Kirk Cousins has not done well against the Packers when he's been in a Vikings uniform. Has not gone very well.
God no. Which is also another hilarious signing, Kirk Cousins. Like, windows in the NFL are so small for almost every other franchise but the Patriots, and even they are seeing windows are small without Tom Brady. And they were just like, we have this great team built, this great defense. Let's go out and sign Kirk Cousins to be the quarterback and anchor of it.
And they signed Kirk Cousins. I mean, Kirk Cousins he's fine, but
great guy. Seems like, but
what we're gonna love about him in this game is Aaron Rodgers is gonna go out there. He's probably gonna sling it and go up by a lot, and Kirk Cousins is gonna come back and do some garbage time touchdowns and hit our over. So that's what we like him for.
This is true. Yeah, it should have been more alarming when the dude almost missed the target on his gender reveal from like 5 yards out. That maybe we don't have what we need here at the quarterback position, but I like Packers here. I like the over too. I mean, both these defenses aren't great, but the Vikings especially are. And they're banged up, which hurts, but it's not good. And I don't put it on Zimmer, too. He's still, I think, a great coach, but it's a bad spot they're in. Patriots-Bills. Patriots fans are learning real quick how valuable Tom Brady was because that quarterback situation has gone sour quickly. The Bills are also not trending in the right. They took off like a fucking rocket ship this year. Yeah. And now they are trending not great. Josh Allen's mechanics are starting to get sloppy. His accuracy is starting to go back to what we knew. And on the Patriots side, I mean, you're not going to sit Cam here, but like the fact that you had to pull him because he was having such a bad game, just for a game, but even still, is not a good sign for the longevity of the Patriots season here.
I agree. Yeah, they're learning that Tom was pretty important.
Go figure.
Also, just quick little side note, Washington football fans, let's stop talking about Cam Newton as a real possibility. Let's just put that to the side. We can revisit that as the season progresses. We'll see how he plays, but no. From now on, no Cam Newton next year. Anyways, this is a game I don't like this game.
I don't either.
Just because. Yeah, I really don't, because I don't know what to think of the Bills. They were so good, and now they're really coming back down. The Pats, they've been playing terrible. You think Bill could put together a game plan where they could possibly win this game? I'm leaning towards New England. I don't love it, though. But this will be a game I stay away from. And the total is just so low that I'm just scared how low it is.
I agree. I saw that total, and I was like, Jesus. I mean, that's an indictment on how bad things have started to get, especially offensively for these two teams. I had the future bet on the Bills. I had them to win this division. I did not think things were going to go well for the Patriots, even with the signing of Cam, and that's sort of what we're seeing here. But I don't like it either. Like if you put a gun to my head and said pick a team, I'd probably go Bills because it's so disconjointed with the Patriots right now on offense. But I stay away from it entirely. Yeah, I don't like it. Speaking of your Washington football team, because they don't play this week, do they? They on a bye?
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Dwayne Haskins, where are you at with that?
Oh, he's gone. He's not it.
Quick pull of the plug there.
I'm out.
Just yanked
I'm out.
it.
Yep, I'm out.
Well, luckily you'll probably have a decent draft pick, so maybe you'll get something here in this draft. We'll see.
Unless we mess around and win the East with 6 wins.
Dude, the winner of the East
picking 7.
is going to be hilarious to watch in the playoffs. All right.
Dude, I let me just say one quick thing. I'll say this like a big idiot. I think I texted this dude the other day. We win the division. I will talk myself and believe me, we could beat a shit Chicago Bears team. I will. I will talk myself into thinking we could beat that team.
Yeah, we're gonna get to them in a minute. They've got that's another problem NFL team. All right, the college game of the week: Jets versus Chiefs. The line's at 20, which you never see in the NFL. Over-under's at 49. That is such an absurd line to see right now this week.
It's crazy. it's crazy. I mean, I love when you see a spread of 20 and then a total at 49. I think that's so funny.
That's a great point.
They just think the Chiefs are just going to kill them and the Jets are going to score no points.
Yeah, literally nothing.
Yeah. I want to say Chiefs. I do. But I could also see this really being a game where Andy Reid's a player's coach. Andy Reid knows Left Bell wants to kill his former team. So I could see Andy Reid running the ball a ton, and maybe they only win by 17. So, call me crazy. I think I might take plus 20.
I think I might too because honestly, they weren't good, but they looked more competent on offense last week.
Yeah.
Go figure. When Adam Gase gave up the play calling, who could have thunk that? They looked a little bit more competent. And the Chiefs aren't like some lights out defense. They're good. They're much improved.
Yeah.
Like I keep fooling myself thinking they're the Chiefs of old where they just like get gashed every time. They're not horrendous. They're a decent defense from what I've seen. Can make a stop and stuff like that. But yeah, the Jets looked more I can't even say it. Like they just looked a little better. I'm not going to say competent because they're still not competent, but like it was a move in the right direction. Yeah, exactly.
With maybe a good team, probably a good team.
Yeah, God, Adam Gase. I mean, fucking A. Dude, that was the argument. There was the argument on ESPN this week I saw, because I had it on during when I was working. I think it was Ryan Clark. I don't know. Ryan, sorry if I messed this up, but I think he was making the argument that if Trevor Lawrence should leave for the draft and he should go to the Jets because the GM's really good and they have a ton of draft picks and he's been drafting players. And my only argument about that is, well, if this fucking GM is so great, how come Adam Gase is still on the goddamn sideline? Like, what is he doing? What leverage does he have over him? But yeah, they look
my only argument for that is that they want Trevor Lawrence, so they want to keep Adam Gase, so they keep losing. That's my only.
Dude's playing 3D chess on me over here. I'm fucking playing checkers. Like, why don't you fired Adam Gase yet? He's like, whoa, I don't want to put some interim in and maybe light a fire on his team's ass.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
That's a great way to tank. Yeah, I'm not picking this game. Like, this game will not be on the card for me at least.
Right.
But yeah, I'd go Jets. Like, if you wanted to bet this game, if you're a Jets fan, yeah, I wouldn't feel horrible about putting a little cash on it to say, fuck it. This is an absurd score for a fucking NFL game. This isn't goddamn Notre Dame versus Georgia Tech at fucking noon on a Saturday. What are we doing here?
Exactly.
All right, Steelers-Ravens. The line's at 3.5. Ravens are favored, which was kind of crazy to me. It's at Ravens, which it means nothing in COVID world. Like, there's no home field really advantage, I guess, outside of travel, but you're staying on the East Coast, so there's no real travel advantage there. Over-under 46.5. I was sort of surprised the Ravens were favored here. But I don't know how I feel about this game because obviously the Steelers have a great defense, but that offense, and it's clicking. But every week, I don't know, I go into the week going like, are they that good? Do I feel great about the Steelers offense? Like every week I'm just expecting something to go wrong and them to like slow down, but they're kind of just pumping through it.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this game. I'm excited it's a 1 o'clock game and the Washington football team's not playing, so I'll be able to watch it. So I'm really excited about this game. Yeah, it's weird. The Steelers are a weird team, but no matter what, they always have weapons. They always have ridiculous wide receivers. Even though they're young and they're kind of no names at this point, except for Juju, honestly, who's I think still a very good player, but who's doing the least amount. But just with the Steelers pass rush and the Ravens, their offense is just they don't know who the running back is. Lamar is still a freak, but
Yeah,
there might be something wrong with him now. He's not playing as great as he was. I really like the Steelers in this game. I might even put some cash on the money line. Like I really do. I like the Ravens. I love watching them. I love Lamar. I don't like the Ravens against really good teams. I think they just smack around the kind of 4 teams where they control the clock, bleed the clock. But in real competitive games, I don't like the Ravens. I just don't.
yeah, I'm with you. They have yet. They still have the same problem they had last year. If they get behind, they can't catch up. And there's nothing that they have done this year to improve the offense. If anything, it's regressed, as you said. The running game isn't right. Lamar doesn't seem right. Still a phenomenal player. We're like nitpicking when we're like he's not good.
Yeah.
Every franchise would take him outside of the Chiefs right now. And so, yeah, the offense, that's the thing. I think the Steelers, I'm with you. I'm taking the money line here on the Steelers because I'm saying screw it. Like, I don't think, if I'm going to bet them, I'm going to bet them to win because I don't have a lot of faith in the Ravens here. The defenses are great, but the wide receivers, once again, we brought it up earlier. They're small. The Steelers play a very physical style of defense. They want to bang with you. They're going to bring the heat. And then their offense is going. The wide receiving scouting department for the Pittsburgh Steelers, whoever's running that deserves to be, yeah, the fucking VP of player operations or GM at another franchise. Like, however I don't know how they do it, but they continuously to find these gems late in the draft and in free agency. It's absurd what that scouting department has done. I'm with you. Big Ben's playing really well. I did not see that coming this year. We have an explanation for why his elbow and arm's always fucked up from his off seasons, but he's playing well.
Yeah.
He likes him a good tug. But he's got this team pumping. They're going in the right direction. I'm with you. Steelers money line. I'm staying away. I'd probably go under because these games are always fucking slugfest, but I would rather go money line Steelers. Titans Bengals. Lines at 5.5. Over-unders 53. I fucking love this over. I might hammer the fuck out of it. The Bengals cannot stop a goddamn nosebleed on defense. The rush defense is probably the worst part, and big old Derrick Henry is about to have him a fucking day.
Yeah, Henry's going to eat them up. I like the Bengals. I think they compete. They play hard. I really do. But I can't see them covering here. I'm going Tennessee all the way. I also like the over. I'm with you there.
Yeah, dude. The Bengals have surprisingly been covering a lot of games, and the offense, credit to Joe Burrow, who's been getting the shit kicked out of him. Like Zach Taylor does, and he doesn't do enough to protect. I would honestly, it's to the point where I would either have a tight end blocking on every play or leave the running back in the backfield to try to pick up the blitzer because it is ugly, which definitely hinders your offense. But at this point, it's like, try not to get this kid killed because he is definitely your future. But he has done a good job of getting the ball out quick. The offense is explosive, but that defense is so bad. And the Titans don't play great defense either, but they're a fucking phenomenal team. Well, not phenomenal. Phenomenal is an aggressive word. They're a very good team. They're like they're in the Class B. Maybe not Class A. Chiefs are like Class A. I'll probably put the Titans B+. Maybe an A-. But I love the over here. Derrick Henry's about to run through them all day. Ryan Tannehill, who go figures, a guy that leaves Adam Gase, ends up being good. Didn't see that on my board, but he's been phenomenal. Let's talk about your fraud Bears. Saints Bears. Lines at 5. Over-unders at 53. What is going on with the Bears?
I don't know. The Bears are weird. Did you say over 53?
43.5. Sorry, 43.
Okay, all right, good. Dude, the Bears. It's just, there's nothing. I don't know how they're 5-2, right?
Sorry, what was that?
The Bears, they're 5-2, correct?
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, I thought this team might win 1 or 2 games. I don't know how they're doing it. They're frauds in my opinion. But however, I don't really like the Saints this year like I used to. I actually hate this game. I would take the Saints because they are the Saints, and I just have more trust in them. But I don't like this game. I'm staying away from this game, I think.
I hate this game. I've been super critical of the Saints, even though the numbers don't back me up as much. Like, if you were to look at the pure numbers of the Saints offense, you'd be like, oh, Drew Brees hasn't lost a step. But then when you watch it with your eyeballs, you can tell, oh, that Father Time is showing up in New Orleans, but they're still producing good yardage. He's still completing a stupid amount of his passes. But the Saints they're not right. And the Bears, this is Matt Nagy. I don't have a love-hate. Why am I saying that? I'm not a Bears fan. I think Matt Nagy's an idiot. As a play caller, he's one of the dumbest play callers out there, and that's fine. I think he might be a good coach, but he is not a guy who can do both. There are maybe on one hand I can count in the NFL of guys who can do both head coaching and offensive play calling, and most of them don't do it 100% of the time throughout the games. Like you think Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, they can do it. Andy Reid could do it if he wanted to, but even he doesn't do it 100% through the games. Like it's just there's too much going on. You're responsible for too many things as a head coach. It's too hard to do both. And Matt Nagy needs to get over his ego and pride and give away the play sheet because these sweeps with Cordell Patterson and the offense that like your quarterback is actively saying like he calls in plays and I'm like, yeah, that's not working. Like I have no time. That's bad. Like that's a bad situation. You need to be the head coach and give the play calling responsibility to your OC because he's also just bad. Like that triple doink literally fried a circuit in his brain. Like he continues to play as if that's the game that's happening because like you saw in the Bucs game and I forget what other game where like you just run the ball continuously, but then he passes it to try to get the first down. You're like, what are you doing? It's the end of the game. So yeah, I have no faith in that. And honestly, at this point, like I might put Mitch Trubisky back in because at least he's a little bit more mobile and gives you some chance for a broken play. And his numbers aren't that far off from where Nick Foles is, but at least he has a little bit more mobility. Like it's a bad situation for the Bears. They are a fraud, but the defense has been phenomenal.
Defense is nasty.
I think Hicks and Mack and the rest of the guys are starting to realize though that like it's all on them, and so like that's a dangerous mindset because by the time you get to the second half, that's the mindset that goes, "Fuck this, we're already out of it." Like, why am I fucking busting it right now? Which is dangerous. I don't like any pick here. I'd probably go Saints just because the Bears are so bad now. But yeah, I don't like a pick here. 49ers Seahawks. 3 is the line. Seahawks are favored here. Under over is 53.5. Where do you feel on this? Because my brain has been a fucking ping pong match back and forth on this one.
Yeah, these games are always hard. They're always so tight. They're always so competitive. I think last year it was a 3-point game and a 5-point game. And, I mean, it's always tough to say. It's because you want to pick Seattle because they have the offense, they have Russell, but they just have no defense. I mean, Kyle Shanahan with that defense, and he laughs. He laughs at that defense. I predict, like, so it's hard to see Seattle drop 2, but I'm kind of leaning San Fran, actually. I could see a big game from, like, Brandon Ayuk, Kittle. I just think Kyle Shanahan's going to be really creative. So I think I'm going to go Niners. I rarely bet against Russell, but I think I am this time.
I really bet against Russell as well. You don't win. It's like the same thing in college. You don't bet against Nick Saban. You don't bet. Well, actually, you do bet against Clemson because they're terrible covers. But like there are just certain people you don't bet against, especially Russ. But this defense, we were giving Atlanta shit. They're giving up 368 yards through the air. Like that is, I didn't even know that was possible. And for a play caller like Kyle Shanahan, even though you don't look at the 49ers pass offense and go, wow, that's an elite pass offense. They're putting up 244 through the air. Like, he's such a dynamic call player that you do kind of lean that way, and then the defense will get a stop here and there. the Seahawks are such a weird team to try to bet on because it's if you bet against them and you lose, you fucking are kicking yourself because you're like, why would I ever bet against the Seahawks? They're so electric on offense. But then when you bet on them and they actually lose, you also think, why the fuck would I bet on the Seahawks? That team is atrociously bad on defense. Like, it's a lose-lose no matter which way you go. And I'd rather bet on the 49ers and pick the 49ers and be like, fuck, whatever. Seahawks just went off. Russ went off. I'm okay with that as opposed to betting on the Seahawks and then the 49ers just fucking take them to town. Which is possible because that defense is so bad.
Yeah.
And they're not
To
going to
me,
Dunlap either this week because he's
I
got
know.
a clear fucking, 2 weeks of COVID protocol?
I thought it was 5 days.
5 days maybe. I think that's
Yeah.
I'm like mixing the Wisconsin and the NFL policy together. Yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. But it just for this type of game, I would expect just kind of typical Seattle. I would expect, 1 minute you think you're going to win your bet, next minute you think you're going to lose your bet, next minute you're going to win your bet. Like, that's just how the Seattle games go. I mean, it's going to be a roller coaster.
I feel bad for everybody in Seattle who has heart disease or fucking like pacemaker. That thing must be going off constantly.
It's crazy.
Cowboys, Eagles, make your eye bleed. Game of the week. The line's at 9 here. Over-under's 43. Where are you at with this as an NFC East fan team?
As an NFC East fan team and a Washington football fan team, believe me when I tell you, I know bad football. I do. The Dallas Cowboys, that team that we played last week, I think that was the worst NFL team I've ever seen. That team was so bad. The Washington football team is terrible. I have never seen. I really haven't. I think that defense was about the worst defense I've ever seen. None of the players cared. You could tell on the field, none of them cared. They all hate. They just hate their existence right now. I know 9's a big figure, but I'm going Philly.
Have to. There's no way you can't go Philly there. I mean, that defense. You got Mike. What's his?
Mike Nolan.
Mike Nolan rubbing Tabasco sauce in his eye in a press conference. Like, the incompetency level across the board is insane. Mike McCarthy is an idiot. And
Idiot.
there's no fight in the team. I mean, Andy Dalton legitimately got assassinated, and not a single player had issue with it. Which
None.
there's the debate of like, well, you got to earn the respect type of thing. But it's like, bro, one of your teammates got
Dude.
legitimately assassinated.
It was a dirty hit.
Yeah,
It was a very dirty hit.
it was insane.
As
And
soon as that hit happened, I went, "Oh, that's not good."
no. Like, could you imagine
Whoa.
had that happened to I'm assuming they would do something with Dak, but like if that happened to like a Tom Brady or Drew Brees or a Russell, that player would end up in the like Bostic would have been in the hospital. Like he would have been dead.
That would have been, it would have been a brawl.
Yeah. But yeah, there's just no fight in this team. Zeke is way flying under the radar, I feel like, nationally as like having one of the worst seasons imaginable. Like, he is a fumbling machine. He's getting lit up on blocks. He's not running the football well. Like, it's a bad situation down in Jerry World.
It's terrible, and I want to say you can't take the over because you can't expect Dallas to get 10 points. You think Philly's gonna get 33? I don't.
Yeah, no, I would stay way away from that.
Can Dallas get 10? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I would.
I mean, I teased the last game. I teased it down to 39. We still didn't go over because Dallas did score.
I did have the under that game, and goddamn, have I never felt more secure in an over/under bet. Like, oh my god, when it was 2-0, I was like, oh, money. We're so golden right now. That was such a funny score to pull up on my ESPN app. I was like, of course it is. I'm golden in that game. I don't even have to tune in. I have no worries about this bet.
Yeah, very good.
All right, Monday night game, last game, my Bucks. Line has moved. I think I got it at 11.5 right now. Over-under's at 45. Bucks Giants. I mean, I don't know how the Giants they even get off the bus. Like, what? Why even show up? This is gonna be bad. The win probability right now, just before the kickoff, is 83%. I don't know how it's not higher, to be honest. But yeah, this is a bad spot for the Giants, and great spot for my Bucks, who are a little banged up right now.
Great spot for the Bucks. Bad spot for the Giants. You said 11.5. That Bucks defense against like a Giants team that can score like 13 points against bad teams Yeah. I mean, that's Bucks.
Well, not only that, but like the Giants have just in the last 3 games they've played Dallas, Washington, and Philly. This is like going from like a hot jacuzzi and immediately jumping into like a freezing cold lake. Like this is such an aggressive step up between your last 3 weeks from like those defenses to the Bucks defense. I mean, the football team's got a good defensive line and everything, but like just the quality of like the whole team is such an aggressive step up for Giants.
That Bucks defense, I mean, that's like they'll choke you out. That's
Oh, it's insane.
They're gonna kill them. Yeah, they're gonna kill them.
I'm putting as long as it stays within 2 touchdowns, I'm taking the Bucks. I was making the argument last week. I don't think the Bucks are there completely yet, but when I look at the Chiefs offense, the Bucks defense right now, and this is me being a bit of a homer, but just looking at it, it feels like the most competent defense to potentially hold them down because the linebackers are super fucking fast and they're big. Like Kelsey's going to have some issues there. The corners are playing well. The defensive line's playing well. It's a buzzsaw down in Tampa. I'm very excited as a Bucks fan, as I should be because it's been miserable the last couple of years.
As you should be. Yeah.
That's the games, our cards. What I'm actually putting money on, as you know, if you've been watching the show, these are the games. We're putting our money where our mouth speaks. These are the games I am currently taking. My card, I got Rams -4, over Raiders Browns at 51.5, Packers -7, Bucks -11.5. Over under, I've got the over, and the Titans Bengals. I've got the Steelers money line, and then I'll probably have one more game Sunday, but I haven't decided what my 7th or 8th games. I'll probably add to it, but that's what I've got as of right now. What I'm taking this week.
I mean, we don't really differ much. Like I literally have everything you already said, pretty much. I'm gonna add the Eagles -9.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I'm definitely adding the Eagles, and then I'll also just add the over in the Raiders Browns.
Dude, I cannot. I have very good feelings about that one. We'll see. I mean, maybe they'll absolutely shit the bed, but it's just like those 2 teams are both giving up plus 30 points a game. So I like the 51 number.
I like it a lot.
Before we wrap this up, any other final thoughts?
Not really. No, we got nothing.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be good another sports week. We got Halloween, which is going to be weird this year. I don't even know. Like as a kid, like that's got to suck. Like Halloween, you just can't do anything. Like I'm going to put a bowl out. I don't get many kids in my area, but like I'd be so devastated as like a young kid to be like, wait, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like there used to be lines sometimes at people's house. It's like there can't be a line now.
No.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But yeah, as always, peace.